in a perfect game, let's say we had a perfect game, would you be able to complete the perfect game? Would the perfect game be 100%able?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that the perfect game should be completable.
Should be or would be? I'm not talking about should, I'm talking about would.
I don't think it would be then.
Okay, I think it would be. So let's talk about that real
Okay.
quick. So before we talk about that, let's talk about the perfect game. And I'm going to call it Plato's game because Plato has this idea that the form of the good, all things that are not perfect are just merely a reflection of something that is perfect in another reality, right? So Plato's game would be the perfect game. Plato's game has to be all things for all people. You have to always want to enjoy it no matter what. Okay? Your mom would like it. Your 6-year-old son or friend or cousin would like it. Everyone would enjoy playing this game. And every time that it's not that you would play the game forever. It's every time that you would play a game, Plato's game would be the game that would be perfect. There would never be a bad time to play Plato's game. Does that make sense? Okay. So now, knowing that, why do you think Plato's game would be 100%able?
I don't think Plato's game should be completable because, once you complete a game, for me it's different. I'm the kind of person who can play a game over and over, or read a book over and over
Me
again,
too.
having completed it. But not everybody's like that.
So?
And so I think that having a game that's 100% completable would get old for some people. So it would fail the test of being, satisfying for all
I disagree.
people.
Because if it's a perfect game, it has infinite replayability. Which means that you would...
But that's a different topic entirely. I think that it's
Mm-hmm.
more realistic to say that it wouldn't be completable because then you could continually find new things to enjoy in the game.
Now, see, here's the thing. If it's perfect, you don't need new things to enjoy. It's the same things. It's kind of like how chess isn't perfect, but chess is pretty cool. Chess is good. Chess has lasted for hundreds of years. There's not new things in terms of new rules, whenever there's new meta and there's new developments, because that's the meta game, not the game. We're not talking about Plato's meta game. We're talking about Plato's game. Right? So meta game is different from game. And I think that if your argument right now is saying that like it's going to alienate some people because it can be completed and not everyone wants to replay anything, the perfect game would make everyone would want to replay it. A perfect movie, right? You would want to watch it more than once. Right? I think so.
I mean,
it would be watchable more than once.
Okay, so now we have to talk about. Now I'm kind of curious what you mean by completable. If you mean like chess is in a sense completable, like there's a beginning and an end of chess, or do you mean like a linear story, like an RPG kind of thing?
Excellent question. So it can be both. So let's talk about Street Fighter. It has a story, and it can be 100% in the fact that you can unlock all the content, and you can complete all the stories, you can get every trophy. But the competitive nature is not completable. But the thing is, like Street Fighter against each other, it's not like complete apt. It's not something that you would measure as complete or incomplete. It just is. A story can be complete. An amount of content unlocked can be complete. You can have everything. You can own all the items. You can do whatever. Your character can be maxed out. But as far as winning isn't something that you complete or you incomplete. Winning is a verb. Right?
So I'm thinking that maybe we're thinking of different definitions of completable.
Okay, what's your definition of completable?
Well, because I'm thinking like more of like a linear storyline where you go through the story of the game and then you can play the story over again. That, you have the beginning of the story and the end of the story. You can do that in Street Fighter. I know, but I don't know if anyone ever does that. I've done that. I don't know if it's enjoyable for all people.
Because it's not Plato's game, but if Plato's game had the well-written, beautifully crafted story that, of course, Plato's game would have, it would be replayable.
But then, it's also, I feel like Street Fighter, in a sense, is not completable because there's that competitive aspect to it.
It's not completable or incomplete. It's just not, I
think it's both.
Saying it's completable and incompletable?
Well, because there's a story that is completable, but then there's a competitive aspect that's doesn't fit.
So completable doesn't mean... Okay, I have another. So we're at this midway point. Okay, right? Where you're saying, sure, Street Fighter 5 has a completable aspect, or Street Fighter period has a completable aspect of the game. A part of the game is completable. But part of it is not linear. Like, maybe if you're the world champion of Street Fighter, you think that you're done. You beat everybody.
But even then, there's...
More people will rise to the challenge. More content will appear. Okay? Now, What about the difference between solvable? So, would Plato's game be solvable? I definitely think Plato's game would be unsolvable.
It would have to be
unsolvable, or it would have to be solvable?
Unsolvable.
Yeah.
Because it would have to, continually provide a challenge for people. Like, part of the purpose of games is entertainment, but another part of the purpose of games is to challenge ourselves, to test our skills.
Here's a question. I agree with you. Here's a question. If, let's say Plato's game was completable, but there was such amount of content in it that even if you lived for a millennia, you would only complete 1% of the game, but the game was completable, would Plato's game be effectively completable, or would it be incompletable? If it had a finite amount of content. See, I think maybe that's even a better question. Like, not as so much as it completable, but like, would Plato's game have a finite amount of content in it?
Or would Plato's game have like DLC?
That would be the opposite. Theoretically, that would be infinite content.
Yeah.
Because DLC can happen forever, theoretically.
I'm saying that would be
the opposite.
The opposite of
so finite or infinite.
Yeah.
So would you have finite?
I think Plato's game can have finite content. It could have like.
You think it doesn't matter?
A ridiculous. No, I don't think it matters.
You know what? I would agree with that. I don't think Plato's game necessarily has to be completable or incompletable. I think you could make a perfect game that has either of those elements, and it would not detract from it.
I feel like Plato's game could be completable, but in a sense it should feel incompletable. It should feel like there's always something more that you can do.
That's why League of Legends is good.
That's exactly
what that's why you can play Street Fighter forever.
That's why competitive games are so popular now.
That's why chess lasts forever.
And
that's why because
kind of
the
poker,
human mind, the human
like
mind continuously evolves, right? And it doesn't even have to be a human. Intelligent minds, a mind that can reason, will continuously develop, right? It doesn't have to be a human one, because in case people say, "Well, aliens would play Plato's game," but a reasoning mind will eternally alter its thoughts. Yeah. Right. I think I'm getting away from myself. What are we talking about?
It should be. It can be completable, but it should feel incompletable.
Yes. Okay. You're right. So you want Plato's game would be the carrot on the stick. You would feel that you're almost there all the time.
That's why you always want to play it.
Yes, exactly.
Have something to entertain you or something to challenge you.
You want progress to always be made, but you don't ever want to finish.
Yeah.
In that sense, so I don't think it matters, because I think if Plato's game has a finite amount, so let's say this: Plato's game would be of two things. Plato's game would be completable or finite, yet it would have infinite replayability. Or it would just be infinite and not be completable. And that would be effectively the same. Would you agree with that?
I think so.
Okay. So I think we got the answer. I think we got the answer here, at least. Maybe the comments will say different things, but I think Plato's game, the perfect game, would be completable and infinitely replayable, or incompletable but never feel like it sucked. Yeah, never feel like
always have progress.
Always have meaningful progress. Meaningful progress in things that you want to complete, even though it's incompletable.
Like
always
rankings in League, or your standings in
because those move, because those decay. You have to. Those need maintenance. Those need maintenance. Yeah. If you want to, you have to upkeep that, right? And so I think that covers it pretty well. I think so.
So also give us some examples of what you think are completable and incompletable games in the comments, and we can talk about those as well in the comments.
I mean, those. We can talk about whatever you want in the comments. That's for sure. So, if you have a different idea about how Plato's game would be, let us know. Comment all that junk, because I think this is a pretty interesting topic. There's going to be a couple more episodes about Plato's game. We're going to talk about various aspects of Plato's game. What music would it have? How would it play? Could we put Plato's game into one genre? So on and so forth. So, thank you for watching, and like, comment, subscribe, and keep grinding the wisdom.